Are you always way too tired to do the things that you want? Do you find that laziness just runs your life because of this? Do you wish you had more energy to accomplish your goals every day? Then this is the video for you. Hola, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to my channel, where we aim to use astrology, spirituality, and wellness as self-development tools to become our highest selves every day. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then be sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and you can even follow me on Instagram for more updates and background content. In my astrology videos, I like to make you energetically aware of the transits and the movements that might be zapping our energy, giving us energy. But the planets are not always entirely, in fact, they are never entirely to blame for the energy that we feel, for the lack of energy or for the jolt of energy. One of the most important things to having the energy levels that you want is your daily habits and the way that you live your life. More often than not, we're doing a lot of things, whether we realize it or not, that drain our energy every day. And I can tell you right now that since incorporating the things that I'm going to tell you in this video, I almost have too much energy sometimes. And I don't consider myself a very energetic person, but as I was outlining this exact video, I was up at 7 a.m. outlining this video. And before I started outlining the video, I woke up at 6 and did like a whole nice little morning routine, drank my tea, etc. And I just felt good and ready to go. And I felt more inspired and ready to start and accomplish my goals because I am doing things that give me energy every day rather than steal it from me. Be sure you watch until the end of this video because I saved the most impactful habit for the very end. Before we get too excited about starting these habits, the first thing we need to do is identify why you want to work on your energy levels. Identifying your deeper reason behind anything that you're doing in life reinvigorates you with purpose. We are human beings, and a lot of times we try to find the reasoning and the purpose behind why we're doing what we do, why certain things happen the way they happen. It's just natural for us. Therefore, if we don't have purpose directly attached to whatever it is that we're doing, oftentimes that is one of the number one ways that we fall off and we decide to just go back into the habits that drain us and are no good for us. So why exactly is it that you want to improve your energy levels? What is the driving factor behind the reason that you're watching this video right now? Is it because you want better energy levels so you can relish the time that you have with your family? Is it because you want to be able to do more of the things you want to do rather than just going to work and that's it? Or is it because you have goals that you want to accomplish and you just feel like you don't have the energy for it? Identify whatever the reason is now and take a moment to write it down. Put that reasoning in a place where you can see it every day, all the time, so that way it is at the forefront of your mind every day. Something that I did is I created an album of images and words that inspire me and remind me why I'm sticking to these habits. And I added a widget to my homepage on my phone that puts that album onto your homepage and plays it as a slideshow. So every time I open my phone, that is the first thing I see. And this has been a huge game changer for me and making sure that my why is always at the front of my brain. So go ahead and take time to do that before watching the rest of the video. Second, we need to start figuring out a routine and schedule that works for you specifically. How many hours of sleep do you need? Some need 6, some need 9, or somewhere in between. I found that for me, around 7 hours of sleep is a sweet spot because for a while I was letting myself sleep 8 or 9 hours and I always felt tired. But then I had started going to the gym again. And when I go to the gym, there was a time frame where I was trying to get used to waking up earlier. Naturally, I was only getting around 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep by doing this if I slept at the ideal time. And I found that I actually was more energetic. So I started scheduling myself to only sleep for about 7 hours. And I find that that is when I'm at my peak energy. Some people thrive off of 6. Some people really do thrive off of that full 9. But if you find yourself getting a full good night's rest, but you find that for some reason you're still groggy and lethargic, you may be getting too much sleep. Oftentimes, we're trying our best to replicate somebody else's routine and schedule that has worked for them, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for us. And I don't think this is entirely bad. It can be beneficial to replicate someone's schedule or routine to begin as a blueprint for what yours could be. It can be the framework of what routine you end up creating for yourself. So if you don't know where to start, you can start by replicating someone else's routine and trying to follow it. But as you get to know your body better through that process, you'll find that there's tweaks and customizations you can make. But we should never be trying to stick to a routine or schedule just because we think that we should be following that routine because that's what Oprah does, or that's what Kim Kardashian does, or that's what a big famous successful entrepreneur does. No, everybody is different, and it doesn't mean that your schedule is wrong or your schedule is not going to lead you to where you want to be. In fact, following the wrong schedule is a quick way to put yourself off track once again to getting to where you want to be. So start figuring out what amount of sleep you need. What time is the best time for you to wake up? What time do you need to go to sleep in order to get the amount of sleep that you need? You really need to focus on your sleep schedule before anything. And like I said, do not be afraid to readjust and customize this as you go because everybody is different. Third, we need to get our blood moving shortly after waking up. Now, before you roll your eyes or you feel your stomach drop because you think I'm just gonna mention the gym and that's it, think again, hear me out. Although getting a morning gym session is highly encouraged, it might be too much for you to commit to right away, and that's okay. You don't need to go to the gym right away. We can build up to that. But what I will say that you should be doing shortly after you wake up is jumping jacks. I know you're probably having flashbacks of PE class right now.
To my mother, I leave my estate, which is mostly dirty laundry.
If I die while on life support, do not resuscitate.
What are they doing?
They gotta run a mile.
That's so sad.
Dweebs realize you can just walk the mile.
Walk a whole mile.
Are you crazy?
But it's okay. I promise it's okay. The reason is because jumping jacks are a jumping movement that ignites the entire body. And igniting the entire body and getting the blood pumping throughout your whole body is essential early in the morning. I recommend doing at least 50 jumping jacks, or if you really can't do 50, like you're really winded by 20, keep it at 20 right now and then build your way up. If you can do 100, that is incredible. I feel like that's a goal. I do about 50 and it takes me literally 50 seconds. So the time that it takes is no excuse. You can stay in your pajamas or whatever and do 50 jumping jacks. I promise you can time yourself. It does not take more than a minute, at the most a minute and a half. After you get out of bed, drink your water, wash your face, and brush your teeth, do your jumping jacks right away. The reason being because, again, it gets oxygenated blood pumping through your body. And if we don't have oxygenated blood pumping through our system, we feel more lethargic and tired. And what this does is it signals your body's alarm system that it is time to wake up. And it increases your basal body temperature. And increasing your body temperature means that your body knows that it's time to be awake. When we're at a deep resting state when we sleep, we're at a very cool body temperature. But when we're up and active and moving, our body temperature is higher. So this is another way that your body goes, oh, okay, it's time to be awake and alert now. Jumping jacks are amazing for your lymphatic system, and your lymphatic system is essential for fighting off infection, disease, and things that are just not supposed to be in your body and getting rid of waste. If we have a sedentary lymphatic system, meaning that we never get the juices flowing in our lymphatic system, then that is what leads to waste buildup in the body, and therefore we feel lethargic. Doing jumping jacks is a great way to get that lymphatic fluid moving throughout your entire body, which therefore helps your body fight infection. And if you wake up every morning feeling like you're stuffed up, you have big mucus buildup and everything, that's a sign of inflammation in the body, and it can be connected to your lymphatic system, but that can also contribute to you feeling lethargic and lazy if you wake up feeling that way. On top of that, an aerobic exercise like jumping jacks releases endorphins, and we all know that endorphins are so good for increasing our mood levels, making our mood better, and easing signs of stress. You need to incorporate mood boosting activities into your daily routine. If you don't do things that boost your mood and fill you with joy on a regular basis, then yes, that is an immediate energy zapper, allowing yourself to always feel sad and frustrated and bitter. And yes, I use the word allowing yourself because to an extent, you are allowing yourself to feel these ways. Don't get me wrong, mood fluctuations are normal. Of course, we can't always be perfectly happy, but I guarantee that there are things you're not doing if you always feel this way that you can be doing. Give yourself a chance. You have to be willing to take care of yourself first and give yourself a chance, or else who's going to do it? And no one else can do it but you. One of the biggest activities you can do to increase your mood is move your body. And this, like I said, ties into the previous point that I was talking about. But again, this releases endorphins that are so important for boosting your mood, lowering stress levels, and alleviating overall pain in our bodies, which can in turn lead us to be lazier if we don't handle pain in our bodies. Now, although jumping jacks I mentioned are a wonderful place to start, if you can start incorporating an actual exercise routine into your schedule, then I'll always recommend it. I cannot express how much the gym improves my mood. Not only does it get me out of the house first thing in the morning, exposing me to fresh air and sunlight, but it gets my body in motion. It makes me feel like I started my day with a huge act of self-love. It makes me feel like I accomplished something major, and it increases my confidence because of that. Not necessarily because of how I look, but because of the fact that I did something for me. I showed myself that I could accomplish going to the gym for my own well-being, and that makes me more confident in my ability to achieve overall. Another potential mood booster could be going outside first thing in the morning. Whether there's sunlight or not, I know we all know the benefits of sunlight, but fresh air actually has underrated benefits for our mood and our health. Fresh air actually boosts serotonin levels and helps improve brain function due to the negative ions that are in the air, providing another mood booster. Our homes are actually filled with a lot of toxins that contribute to indoor air pollution. This indoor air pollution can stem from appliances, various materials in the home, scented items, etc. And all of these airborne toxins can affect our moods and energy levels without us realizing it. This is why it's so important to frequently air out your home if possible. Like no matter how cold or hot it is outside, I open my window periodically to at least allow some ventilation into my room. There's no getting away from the indoor toxins. It's just a reality of our lifestyle and the things we've created as humans, and that's okay. But this only increases the importance of getting outside and getting fresh air. Yes, there are pollutants in the fresh air too, but there are still things in fresh air that are provided by nature that we cannot get indoors. Indoors are far more suffocating than outdoors, unless you have an air pollution warning out in your area, of course. But getting outside and taking a deep breath of fresh air and feeling the fresh air does so much for your nervous system and for your energy levels and your mood levels. And although the list of potential mood boosting activities could be endless, and it's going to be different for everyone what we prefer, I'm just providing you with things that I've done that have really helped me in boosting my energy levels. But I invite you to bring back fulfilling, fun activities into your life. An activity that makes your heart warm, it brings you peace, it brings you joy. It could be baking, painting, writing, reading, yoga, whatever it may be. Having hobbies that we love be part of our daily lives is what feeds us more inspiration. It keeps good feelings at the forefront of our lives that allow us to be more inspired to engage in healthy habits, to take care of ourselves, and therefore to have more energy to do the things that we want to do. Next, you need to be changing your nighttime habits to prime your body for restful sleep. Going back to the previous point where I was talking about looking at your sleeping schedule and looking at your daily routine and finding out what timing works for you on everything, sleep is obviously the most important to waking up with the energy levels that you want. Coming from someone who has suffered from being a light sleeper, having a hard time going into REM sleep, trust me, I know the struggle with sleeping. I really do. And even though there's multiple things that go into having a good sleep cycle, one of the things that has really helped me is actually trading out screen time for something else at night. Now, there are people who are super well versed in doing this, and they shut off their screens and their blue lights and everything at like 6 p.m. and they go to sleep at like 9 or 10. I'm not that perfect at this point in time, so you don't need to be that crazy serious yet. You can build to that if you want. But what I currently do is I aim to get into bed, like actually fall asleep around 10 to 10:30. 11 is a late night for me lately because I like to wake up around 6 to 7 a.m. depending on my schedule the next day. So in order to get that good amount of restful sleep, I like to switch out any technology I'm using for reading around 8:30 p.m., around 8 to 8:30 p.m. So I'm spending the last hour and a half to 2 hours reading. And what I'll do before I start reading is I'll actually journal if I feel called to. I don't do this every night because I also journal in the morning, and sometimes I just have nothing that I want to express or get off my chest at the end of the day. But it does help if I feel like I have a racing mind and my nervous system is kind of antsy. Then journaling at night helps me get a lot of those thoughts out on paper that are kind of igniting my nervous system more than I need it to be at that time of night. Another thing that really helps if my nervous system is really on fire is meditation at night. After I do my reading, my journaling, I will wait until I'm actually laying in bed trying to fall asleep. Because most of the time, by the time I've read for an hour to 2 hours, I'm ready to sleep. I get sleepy. But if I'm not, because there are nights where I'm not ready to sleep, my nervous system is just crazy or I feel anxious, then I actually listen to a sleep meditation, something that helps move my body into a drifting state to segue me into a peaceful resting state. We don't realize just how much our nervous systems are being interrupted every day from various things, but one of those things are our screens. I know none of us want to hear that, but that is just the truth of the matter. And it's not only our blue light screens that are interrupting our circadian rhythm and just our natural rhythms in general, it's also what we might expose ourselves to when we are looking at those pieces of technology. We might be watching something disturbing late at night, or we might be reading something disturbing late at night. The possibilities are endless of what you might be seeing. Even if you're just watching funny content, that's keeping your mind alert and awake and active and wanting more. And that's not going to prime your body for restful sleep. And it can heavily contribute to feeling lethargic in the morning, even if you get a full 8 hours of sleep. The sixth habit is to stop eating carbs first thing in the morning. I was a huge avocado toast girl for a long time. I made myself a slice of avocado toast with eggs every morning, and I would use Ezekiel bread, which is if you're gonna eat bread, it's a great bread to go with. But the problem is it's still carbs, whether it's complex carbs or whether it is simple carbs. The carbs spike your blood sugar early in the morning, and what you don't want early in the morning is for your blood sugar to be spiked past unnatural levels, and carbs can do this. Now, everybody's body is different. Again, this is just something that I noticed. I stopped having that piece of toast in the morning, and instead now I make myself a very yummy omelet, which, oh my gosh, this omelet's so good. I would eat multiple of these omelets in the morning if I could, but that's not healthy. But that is typically my breakfast, is that omelet, because that gives my body healthy protein, healthy fats, first thing in the morning, which is what your body needs the most early in the morning. The carbs I save for lunch or later in the afternoon when I have like an early dinner or a late lunch. This includes oatmeal. I have now been saving oatmeal for like a later breakfast, early lunch, but it is not the first thing I put into my system. I used to have like a big bowl of healthy oatmeal. It would be healthy, a very healthy whole food bowl of oatmeal. But it doesn't change the fact that oatmeal is what it is, and it's going to do what it does in your body. I noticed that when I would have that bowl of oatmeal in the morning, I would actually feel kind of sluggish in my day, and I wouldn't feel as much mental clarity. And something I was really struggling with was brain fog. And I realized that having those carbs early in the morning can create brain fog and decrease your mental clarity in the day. And therefore, you can't apply yourself to the things that you want to apply yourself to if you're feeling sluggish like that. And for me, cutting out those carbs first thing in the morning and not making them my first meal of the day has made a massive difference. And this brings me to my last healthy habit, the one you've all been waiting for, the one that has made the biggest impact on me personally, and one that I highly encourage you to hear out. It is to quit drinking coffee. I know that's not what we want to hear. Coffee is so aesthetic in our society. We like idolize coffee and we put it on this aesthetic pedestal, and people just need coffee now more so because it gives them a certain feeling or it provides a certain ritual for their lives. And for me, this was very much true as well. When I first quit drinking coffee, it wasn't just that I had the withdrawal headaches from drinking coffee, but it was also that I felt like a part of my ritual was missing. And I was so used to having coffee. It was truly a habit more than anything. And I was more drinking it habitually rather than out of necessity. I was getting to a point where coffee for me, I could tell that it was overactivating my nervous system and totally screwing up my body's natural rhythms. And so it was bleeding into everything. There's a lot of studies about how coffee is good for you and whatever. And I think that if you drink it maybe periodically, or maybe occasionally, I think that it could provide benefits for you. But the way that we consume coffee, we consume it like the true coffee addicts that we all are. We are addicted to the caffeine, to the sugars, to the taste of the coffee drinks that we like to indulge in. And that is just undeniable. And the drinking coffee at the level we do is definitely not good for our systems. One of the first reasons is because, again, just like the carbs, it greatly increases your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormones. Another one of the reasons I wanted to get off of coffee is because I struggle from hormonal issues that give me really bad acne. And I used to have pretty extreme periods before I started really working on my hormonal balance. And even though that's something I'm predisposed to and it may always be with me, I want to do as much as I can to reduce that. And when you have your cortisol levels higher than they should be and you're spiking them with coffee, and any really strong source of caffeine for that matter. It doesn't just have to be coffee. It could be energy drinks. Maybe those are your kryptonite. Maybe it's not coffee. Maybe it's unhealthy energy drinks. And that is a whole other slew of its own. Energy drinks are bottom of the barrel for caffeine boost. Coffee is at least a little better for you. But I won't get into that. But anyways, it increases your cortisol levels, which can increase hormones like acne-causing hormones and whatnot. So that was another reason that I wanted to get away from it. I knew that it might help me have more mental clarity and less brain fog, and it might increase my ability to move throughout the day without feeling sluggish. But what I didn't expect is just how powerful this change would be for my sleep, for my productivity, for my mood levels, for everything. Let's bring it back a little bit. Let's start with mood levels. Coffee was ruining my natural mood levels and my natural endorphins and serotonin, etc. And I know this because a lot of people make jokes that you don't talk to them before they have their cup of coffee. Honestly, they're jokes and I can laugh, haha, like it's funny, it's cool, but it's true. It's actually true because If I didn't have coffee by the time my body was used to it, I would start getting a headache. I would start feeling lethargic. I would feel all these really negative things. And it would also make me feel like I was not ready for my day. If I didn't have my coffee at the beginning of the day, my mood was already shot. It was way harder to come out of a bad mood without my coffee. And that is not good. I don't like letting something have that much control over me. I just don't. Then I also realized that my productivity, because you are jacking up your nervous system with an unnatural amount of caffeine every day and you're interrupting your circadian rhythm, that means that you are inevitably going to experience sluggishness at some point because your body has way too much caffeine in its system every single day. And it basically is a domino effect that accumulates within you, and it causes you to become sluggish because your body is reliant on that. And you may think like, oh yeah, like I just need to have my coffee and I'm fine. But there's a certain point where the coffee doesn't help anymore. It doesn't make you more alert and awake. It only continues to spike your nervous system. And that's one of the reasons that you'll still feel tired and lethargic and lazy, but your nervous system is like vibrating. You feel like your heart palpitations and all sorts of other uncomfortable things. You may feel nausea, and that's all because your nervous system is in an unhealthy state. It is uncomfortable for you to be in that state, and it does not provide you with natural energy. When you are using something unnatural for any reason, there's going to be some type of repercussion because you are interrupting your body's natural state. The last thing, my sleep. Like I said, I've struggled with sleep for so long. What I did not expect is for quitting coffee to help me sleep so well. It was really screwing up my sleep. And I wish I would have known that sooner. But I figured that I was just a person that doesn't really get that great of sleep. But that has allowed my body to become more used to its natural energy levels, and therefore it can do its thing. It can follow its natural circadian rhythm much easier because I'm not interrupting it with something unnatural. Therefore, I find myself way more ready to drift off in a sleep state when I'm ready to sleep. The coffee is no longer controlling my sleeping abilities. With all that being said, with getting the right sleep, having my mood not start off crappy at the beginning of the day, and having more natural energy levels and not having that brain fog, I'm able to focus and hone in. And that has been huge for me. I don't feel so mentally exhausted when I'm sitting here outlining my YouTube videos and editing. I feel so much more mental clarity and I go into a flow when I'm creating. And I did not experience that when I was drinking coffee. And I realize now just how impactful the repercussions were of drinking coffee every single day the way that I was. I start my day with a hot tea, and then later on in the morning, I drink matcha because you should not be having caffeine like that first thing in the morning. So a hot tea, and then a couple hours later, my matcha. So that has been amazing for my focus, my clarity, and my productivity because of that. I feel like there's things I'm going to think about that I should have included in this video that I'll want to include later. So be sure you like the video. If you want more videos like this one, there may even be a part 2 in the future for this. But if there was anything I talked about in this video that you want me to dive deeper on, please comment down below so I know. And again, give the video a like so I know you enjoyed this type of video. But until we see each other next time, you can watch these videos that'll help you even more on your self-development journey. I love seeing that my videos can help you expand. So please, please, please don't forget to subscribe before you go so we can continue to expand each other. Until next time, adios.